Okay, welcome. So first of all, thank you all for coming. We appreciate your interest in our program. And my name is Gail Bogman. I'm the current department chair of biotechnology. In the past, I've been a full-time faculty member here in biotechnology for about 20 years, teaching a variety of courses. And now I've taken on this new role of kind of shepherding in our new bachelor's program. So first, let me tell you kind of what we're going to do here tonight for the next hour. I'd like to start off with just a short presentation. So I'm going to describe what we currently do here in the department, the kind of programs we have. I'm not really sure exactly why all of you are here, if some of you are here just checking out biotech for the first time, or if you're here specifically for information about our new bachelor's program. So we're going to cover it all. We'll just talk a few minutes about what we currently do. We'll talk a few minutes about the industry, the workforce in our area, and then I'll go ahead and introduce our bachelor's program, so kind of the coursework that's going to be involved in that, how you would become eligible to enter the bachelor's program, what the admissions process will look like, selection process, all of that, what your ed plan might look like for you to start to finish to get into that, to get that degree here at MiraCosta. And I'm hoping to keep that all to about half an hour. Right? So that then we can leave time also for questions and answers. We have a variety of people here in the audience that will be able to provide you additional information. We have representation from admissions, from financial aid. We have additional faculty members. If you'd like to see our facility, we have the manufacturing facility in the back room that we'll actually, you can go ahead and look around. We'll walk you around, answer questions. And hopefully you're going to find this, a useful session, and that's why you came. So let's go ahead and, so just in general, what is biotechnology? Hopefully, I think since you self-selected to come here tonight, you don't need a lot to know about this. But it's, it's that branch of science that is really working on, especially here in San Diego County, trying to improve the human condition in some way, right? We're primarily focused on biomedical uses of biotechnology here in San Diego County, although there are, big sectors of this that work on modified foods and things like that. That's not so much San Diego. So most of the presentation, most of the training that we do here is to prepare students and workers for either going into academics, research institutions around the San Diego County, and or our industry, our local biotech industry. So this is a real simple slide, right? It's basically just describing different sectors or pathways within this, within the biotechnology arena. So we have the research area, we have where basically you're kind of learning, applying basic science to learn about something, to learn about how biological organisms do things, finding out some real basic scientific discoveries there. In the case of for the biotech arena, if that's successful, then you will head over to development. Someone's going to take those ideas, see if they can come up with a product, see what they can do with that, maybe see if it's scalable, if it's feasible to make whatever that is. And if we make it through that, then we'll head into production. Right? So, and that's where, now we're really talking about manufacturing. We're talking about making a product that's going to go into, quite often, either into therapeutics or human use on humans. And so that's now a whole different environment than the research environment. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about each of those. But one thing that I like to mention, we're located up here in Oceanside. And I think for a lot of students and for this community, you like to know what's going on up here. Right? San Diego's close. I mean, it's just down the freeway, right? But, and there's a wealth of opportunities down there. If you're willing to go down to the UCSD, La Jolla, Mira Mesa area, there's a ton of biotech companies down there. But I also like to mention that they also exist up here in North County. For those of you who are looking for a career that allows you to stay kind of in your community, we like to kind of highlight that there are numerous opportunities locally. And that's in pretty much all of these sectors. So for therapeutics, where you're making drugs or agents to try to treat diseases or cure diseases, I think probably any of you who would live in this area know that Genentech is located right down the street here in Oceanside, and that they're currently making treatments for cancer. Diagnostics is another big sector. So this is where you're actually trying to make some of the tools, some of the testings that allow you to detect diseases and conditions. Genoptics. Anyone familiar with genoptics? Okay. It's right off of Faraday, right in the Carlsbad area, right off of, real close to Costco. So really in our own backyard right here. And that's a very large company. It's recently been acquired by Novartis. I think that's right. Yeah, Novartis, that's what I was pretty sure. It's getting a little bit of a strange feeling there. So it really represents a large international company now. Agricultural products, like I said, I didn't bother to try to pick one out since it's not a very large sector here in San Diego and in North County. Industrial. These kind of applications are for looking for materials, processing, like things like enzymes that might be used in chemical syntheses or for other industrial uses, paper processing, things such as that. And Verdesign here in Carlsbad represents that one. And then we have suppliers. Okay. Maybe you hadn't heard of Genoptics, but a lot of you, I'm thinking maybe in Vitrogen or Life Technologies. You may have noticed in your science classes, if you ever get to see in the materials that you're working with, a lot of them are purchased from Life Technologies, which is it's an international company, but it's also local here in Carlsbad. And they're making, like I said, the supplies. They're making the agarose for your agarose gels. They're making the acrylamide. They're making, your medias. They're making just a lot of things that you would use to do science. So with that, knowing that this industry is here, and it's a large industry in San Diego County, we started a biotechnology training program here at MiraCosta more than 20 years ago. I've been here for 20 years, and it was just started at that time. And we've grown it over the years. So we started out with kind of an R&D focus, a research and discovery focus program that was supplying technicians and things for our local academic and research institutes. And then we branched off about 12 years ago into more trying to address the needs of manufacturing, so our bioprocessing program. And we've been going strong now for 20 years. And that history has allowed us not only to grow into various sectors and to meet various needs here, so that we're meeting training needs in research, development, and then with the bioprocessing program, the AA program, we're starting to meet needs in production also. And it is this last component here, the idea of that now the industry has kind of grown up. We're actually at the point now where, we've done a lot of discovery. We're actually producing real products that are going to go into human treatments and things. There's a need out there, especially locally, for workers in this industry. And so we have recently, which is what we're kind of announcing with these info sessions, been awarded by, I guess we call it awarded by the state, the opportunity to start offering a bachelor's degree to produce additional workers for this growing industry. So we'll talk about first, I'm just going to start with what we currently have, and then we'll segue right over to the new program. So right now, and some of you may already be taking courses in these or may have heard of this already, we offer various programs that end with either an AA degree or a certificate. So we have a laboratory skills program that's just kind of, it's kind of like a sampler, right? You start out taking a couple courses, see what you think about biotechnology, whether whether working in the laboratory fits with kind of your personality and your interests. That ends with a small certificate where you've acquired a certain basic amount of skills. And even with that really small amount of skills, that small amount of training, it allows you to be like a laboratory assistant, we find students who go on and transfer to universities that they end up being lab helpers, or they end up working on research projects where they actually have more lab skills than if they just took a traditional education. We have the Bioprocess Technology certificate. And this is a 12-unit certificate that provides more of the skills related to manufacturing. So again, it's kind of an introduction. It provides you an opportunity to see some of these equipment, some of the techniques that you would be doing in manufacturing. It has been very much of interest quite often to workers who are already out there working in biotech, but they aren't working in those arenas. they don't work in the manufacturing area, maybe they have a lower skilled job and they want to move and advance. And so these have been very useful courses for them to be able to bump up their skills and advance in their careers. Then we have the Research and Development Associate Degree and Certificate of Achievement. And this is the one that is our oldest training here at the college. And it kind of reflects, as I said, that 20 years ago, we didn't have much manufacturing, or the industry hadn't matured enough in San Diego County yet. And so most of what we were doing is preparing students to go and work in academic settings, R&D. And so this is a degree, and it still is a very useful degree, where students will take very traditional kind of coursework, chemistry, biology, math. It's more of a pre-transfer pattern, along with some of these skills in actual laboratory skills that will help them bench side working in research and discovery. And so it's a good certificate or degree if you want to enter the workforce as a bench scientist, somebody who's going to assist somebody with a PhD, somebody who's going to do research, just research level research level training or research level focused. And it's also very good for students who think they want to transfer into a traditional biology or chemistry, bioengineering pathway, because it has provided them with additional skills. So those have all been very successful programs that we've been having here for now anywhere between 12 and 20 years. And it's based on that success, and it's based on how well those students have been received by our local industry, that we are now moving forward starting next fall by enhancing our lower division training in biomanufacturing with a new AA degree, and using that then as the foundation to step up to a bachelor's degree here at the college. So we will be offering a new bachelor's degree in biomanufacturing. Like I said, it's built on this new AS degree in biomanufacturing. And you may not realize, but this is just really groundbreaking for a community college in California to be offering a bachelor's degree to students. Okay? And we have a hard time containing our excitement over it, and we're hoping that transfers over to the students. It's a pilot program. There's only 15 colleges in the state that were allowed to even try a bachelor's program, and we are one of 2 that are being allowed to try it in biomanufacturing. So it's still very new. And again, part of the reason that we were approved for that is because of the strong support we had of the existing program that we have and of our local industry. We had to show that we thought there was a need for this, that the industry wanted workers, and that they thought that we were well qualified to train them here. So just a little bit about biomanufacturing, because it is different than traditional, what you might think of as biotech. Right? I mean, the term biotechnology has been around there for a long time. Universities offer biotechnology degrees, things like this, or a biotechnology focus. And when they do that, typically it's more about the R&D aspect that we've had here for 20 years. It's about exposing students to some of these techniques that are being used in the laboratories, cloning and PCR and some protein purification or whatever. But it hasn't been about manufacturing, right? And so this is going to be a very unique degree. This is a degree that's not being met currently by any of the UCs or any of the CSUs. Okay? And in fact, that was a requirement. The state would not allow any of the community colleges to offer a degree that would duplicate something that was happening at the existing universities. A little bit of politics there probably or whatever, right? But it worked out for us. So this is a very unique niche that we know that the industry is looking for workers in. And so I've listed kind of some of the types of careers here. Manufacturing technicians, QC technicians, analysts, regulatory affairs, product managers, and included some pictures, right? Because I think it's important for you to look at these pictures. These are not, this is not a scientist sitting there at a microscope and, and typing up a paper for Nature or for, whatever. This is producing products This is, like I say, you can say it's like making macaroni and cheese under a really controlled set of regulations, because these products are going to be used by humans, right? They're going to go into humans quite often. And so it's a very regulated environment, and it's just different, right? In terms of the needs, when you talk to people working out there in the industry, the skill set is different. So you'll see in a few minutes when we describe the degree, it's not your typical biology or chemistry degree. There's no calculus here. There's no physics here. It's a different set of skills, right? They basically, it's understanding how to work in a regulated environment. It's how to work with a team. It's very interdisciplinary, where you're going to be taking information about living organisms. So there's some biology that are growing in set culture media, where it has an important pH and tonicity and things that you have to matter from chemistry. And you're working with equipment, and so there's physics involved. There's a little bit of physics mixed in there, but nothing like just the traditional coursework that you might get if you were advancing to a biology or chemistry degree. So just some different kind of skills here, and that's what we're hoping, that when we have time to mingle and talk, by all means ask questions, try to learn more, whether this is something that appeals to you or not. Okay. As part of our degree then, when we started to design it here, we tried to look at this, even though it will be based on a lower division pattern and then moving up to an upper division pattern, we like to look at it as the whole 4 years. What would you be doing if you were going to start now thinking about this? For some of you, you may be already midway through the lower division and thinking now, do I want to continue on to and get the bachelor's degree? For others of you, you might be way at the beginning saying, okay, where would I start? So we kind of wanted to cover both of those. As you can see, we start out with just basic English, math here, which is your algebra, general biology, general chemistry, a little bit of statistics in there, and then start moving through the biotechnology courses. Okay? So in the first 2 years, you'll be taking more of a traditional biotechnology pathway here. We have a lab skills course called Biotech 110 that teaches you just how to be very comfortable in a lab setting, doing any of the kind of daily techniques, weighing out things, measuring things, making up solutions, working with a microscope, working with cells, doing some work with proteins and enzymes, running some gels. Just the real traditional kind of that anybody in a biotechnology field, whether it was biomanufacturing or biotechnology, would want to have. And then we add on to that information about regulations with the regulatory affairs course. We add in some data analysis, move into the actual where you're exposed to bioprocessing, so the actual growth of cells, right? So, taking them from a freezer, starting up a culture, keeping that aseptic, monitoring that culture, scaling it up until you can grow it into fermenters and bioreactors that are going to be measuring things and monitoring the conditions of those cells at all times. And then taking you through techniques of, okay, now those cells have made a product, how do we extract the product? How do we obtain the product away from the cells? How do we purify that product? How do we assess and monitor that product to know that it's been made correctly? Those are kind of the first 2 years basic skills. Okay? And that's the formation of pretty much our current bioprocessing certificate, or our new lower division associate degree in biomanufacturing. Okay. Then we move up to years 3 and 4. Okay. Years 3 and 4, the course numbers don't mean anything to you here. We'll see a list of them soon. But now you're actually going to get the real hands-on experience of how to work in a manufacturing environment. Okay. So here's the kind of list of courses. Okay. They don't look like general biology or general chemistry or physics courses you'll see at any university, right? This is a special, unique degree, right? And so these are the courses that the workforce are excited about, right? When we show this list of courses to our advisory board, they are thrilled to see what we've included in here. So these are courses that allow you to understand that manufacturing environment and everything that goes into it. Okay. With that little introduction, like I say, we're going to leave lots of time so you can ask questions, so you can talk to us individually about this coursework. I mean, I just wanted to give you a kind of a foundation. How, if you are interested in this, what happens next? Okay. So as I said, the first 2 years are just an open program. Any student at MiraCosta can take any of those courses. They can, start the program, decide they want to stop with an AS degree or a certificate or go on. They can move in and out. It's very mobile. There's no acceptance procedure to take the 2 years of lower division courses. The upper division courses are restricted to a cohort of students who will be accepted into the program. I just learned from one of our instructors today that that was something that wasn't widely known, so I'm kind of trying to emphasize that now, that there will be an admission process to the upper division. And part of that, again, is a state regulation. This is a pilot program. At this time right now, they are saying that nobody else can take upper division courses except the students who've been accepted into this program. Okay? They're trying just to keep it as a small pilot program, not open it to anybody in the community who wants to take these courses yet, until they kind of see the success of it and the success in the demand. Okay? So in order to be accepted into this program as a junior, this is kind of our eligibility requirements here. So you can see there's a minimal GPA. We've listed the coursework that you need to start as a junior in the program. And basically what it is you need to have those foundational courses. If you're going to start taking upper division, rigorous courses in this specific field, we need to make sure that you have the foundation and background. So you have your chemistries, you have some beginning biotech courses that were mentioned for those first 2 years. Obviously, a competency in English and a stats course. Okay. So those are the kind of things that makes you eligible. I'll say straight up, this is our first cohort that we'll be taking for next fall. We have no idea how many students will apply this first year for the program. And it's, as with any new program, when we announce it, we expect there's going to be a little delay where it says, okay, now we've told you how to be eligible. Maybe you're not ready yet. Maybe you're not eligible. Maybe you haven't taken all those courses yet. And we understand that. So you'll see that when you look in the application, if you're missing a course or two there, if you have a plan to take that course or two, the springtime, the summer, whatever else, that does not preclude you from being able to apply at this time. Right? What we'll do is clearly is we will look at look for individuals who are the closest and have completed most if not all of the eligibility requirements, and that's what we're hoping. We have no idea, since we've been teaching these courses for 20 years, how many people are out there waiting to take this degree, and we may find out there's a lot of our former students who are. We just don't know yet. So we will look for the strongest cohort of students, but I just wanted to urge you that if it turns out that you look at that list and you're not quite there yet, talk to one of us. Talk about how you can fill that gap, perhaps to still be able to enter next fall. Okay? We will have a comprehensive review. So besides the coursework that makes you eligible to apply, what strengthens your application? What makes you more competitive to get in? And you can see the things here. If you've already completed the AS degree here or at one of our other local institutions, such as Miramar or other places that offer biotechnology coursework, we'll look at that. Completing additional 200 level courses. So we do offer other 200 level courses that weren't on that eligibility list. If you've completed some of those, you'll get some credit on your application for that. If you've partially or fully completed your GE pattern, this is a big one I need to mention. The state has mandated that you must, in order to get the bachelor's degree in the end, have completed the CSU or GETSI GE pattern. So if you got an AS degree, say for an instance here, and you use Plan A for your GE, you're going to want to talk to us because you probably have some gaps. Okay? We have members from counseling, and we have Wendy sitting here from counseling who can help guide you through that, Wendy Horton, because they have insisted that you have to complete one of those two plans, not our local plan. And so we're going to need to work with students to make sure by the time we want to confer the bachelor's degree on you that you've completed that GE pattern. Okay. Other life experiences, special circumstances, if you work in the industry, if you're a veteran, if you're a former youth, first generation college student, we really want to look at the individuals. We want to select individuals that we think are highly motivated and have a high chance of success. Part of the success of our program is whether we turn out graduates who get jobs, which is what you want, right? Absolutely, it's what you want. And so we want to do the best we can also to ensure that that happens. Okay. How to apply, right? So as I said, we're going to take our first cohort this fall. The application is now available. We do confirm that it's been launched. Jane Sparks is our admissions and records individual in the back here. It has launched, do we think? Okay, so it is available on our website that you can see the application process, the application itself and the process. You do have to, in order to apply for the bachelor's degree, you do have to apply to the college first. So you have to complete the MiraCosta College application, which is a pretty, asks you all that little information about yourself. And then there's a separate application to the bachelor's degree program. So you'll see those links there. We'll start accepting those on December 8th, and we'll accept them through February 8th. Kathy Teelig, standing in the back there, she's the secretarial support for this program, and so you'll see her name on things. You'll see her on our brochures and things. She'll be the one who actually will be watching and accepting applications. If you have questions, she'll be able to answer them for you as you go through the application process. And then we will be reviewing those applications and hope to give notification no later than the end of April as to whether you've been accepted into the program. Okay. Fees and financial aid. Always something people want to know. What's it going to cost me, right? Okay. The lower division coursework is still the same. You pay $46 a unit for your first 2 years of coursework. Anything that's a 100 and 200 level course, you're still paying those $46 a unit. The upper division coursework, the state is imposing an additional $84 a unit on that. So you'd pay the 46 and the 84 for whatever math that is, 100 and 130, whatever that number is, yes, right, for those units. Keep in mind, you're not taking 60 units of upper division coursework. The only upper division coursework you're taking are the list of 10 courses in biotech and 3 upper division GE courses. I think it's 45 or 46 units. The rest of your units to get to 120 would still be at the $46. You'd still be taking just things of interest or whatever you need to backfill GE from our lower division pattern, or things that you've transferred in, or whatever that may be. When you cost that out, start to finish, for that 120 units, it costs out at about $10,000 total. That's usually I usually see smiles at that point, right? All of a sudden, we're happy, right? We have Mike Deere here, sitting in the back here, who's from financial aid, so he can provide information to you if you want to know anything about BOG waivers or whatever it may be. I don't even begin to know the lingo that financial aid uses, but he'll be able to answer questions about that for you. Okay. Counseling and advising. So again, if this is of interest to you, hopefully tonight you're going to get some questions answered. Again, I said we have Wendy here tonight, and there's a variety of counselors besides Wendy here. If you're a current MiraCosta student, you can set up an appointment at any time then to meet with them, tell them you're interested in the program. They can start to walk you through things, look at an ed plan for you. Also, the counseling website has a lot of information also here on the program. Okay. At this time, hey, I stayed within my half an hour I was aiming for. I love it. Probably talked too fast. We've invited some individuals who either have been through our program and currently working in the industry, or some of our employers to come here. We have Jason volunteer to come here. So if you want to spend a minute, Jason, and just tell them a little bit about how you got here and what you're doing.
My name is Jason Stein. I work as a research technician for a company called Summit for Stem Cell. And basically they just act as a company that handles all the funds for the research that's carried out in the Loring Lab at the Scripps Research Institute, where I started working in 2012 as a CERN intern. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the CERN programs, the California Institute for Regenerative Medicine. They offer an internship for people at various levels of their education, and they pretty much just get people ready for work in the stem cell field. And I was applicable for that internship because of the certifications I completed at Miracosta College and Miramar College. The Miramar College program was the Biotechnology Competence Certification Program, and here it was the Algal Biomass Production Certificate. So during my internship, I was working on a specific research project that was assigned to me by a mentor. That research has been published in the journal Scientific Reports, and then soon after that I was put on the Parkinson's disease project. And that pretty much sums everything up. If you guys have any questions about how to navigate getting a job in the biotech field without much experience, I might be able to help with that.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So that's the formal part I have here. I think what I'd like to open it up to questions, and we also have we have brand new brochures, so that you don't have to try to remember anything we said tonight. It also provides the links to our websites if you're not familiar with it, so you can go and see a lot of this information. We'll post the PowerPoint presentation up there. A few different things, and that is a lot of times students don't know, do I want the bachelor's degree in biomanufacturing? Is that really for me or not? And I think what I always like to make sure you know is you don't have to know that ahead of time, right? The way the program's set up, if you like your general biology, your general chemistry courses, try those out, right? If you like those, no matter what, you'll be able to use those towards your GE pattern. You haven't lost anything. Try some biotech courses. After you've got that under your belt, try some biotech, see if you like that. During those biotech courses, you'll kind of start to figure out what kind of work appeals to you. Do you like more the research and discovery part? Do you really want to take more academic courses that are the traditional kind and maybe transfer for a bachelor's degree and do that kind of work, and maybe more the kind of the work that Jason's doing now where he's actually doing discovery at Scripps Research? That's all fine. You finish the 2 years, you transfer, you have incredible skills that are just so useful and put you so far ahead of all of the individuals who just went through a traditional academic pathway and never got any biotech experience at all. Okay? Or you'll also find out that, no, I kind of like the bioprocessing part. I like the idea of working on a team. I want to make a product. I want to see that, I want to see that something I'm making is actually going to go out and help somebody who has cancer and advance that. And it's a great, solid industry. And there's, good pay. And I know where I'm working every day. And there's lots of opportunity. You'll find that out, right? So you don't have to know too early is what I'm saying. You can try it out at any point. There's places where you can move on, move over, go on and get a job. And the bottom line is there are plenty of jobs out there. Okay? So I think we had a question here in the back.
Maybe talking about this, but in regards to the AA or the bachelor's, what do one expect going into the industry as far as salary is concerned?
I'm going to let Biljana take that one. Biljana is our brand new faculty member who we hired to develop and run the upper division bachelor's program. She has the most recent industry experience, far more than me, so I think Biljana's a great one for this.
I really would like to introduce myself since I'm going to be leading the upper division courses. So just a little bit about myself, and now to answer your question. So I have about 10 years industry experience in the biotech industry here around Santiago, actually. My first industry job was with Life Technologies in Carlsbad. At the time I joined, it was still called Invitrogen. Then it was called Life Technologies, and currently it's been acquired by Thermo Fisher. So it's a really huge company nowadays. When I was there were about 9,000 people. Now it's over 30,000 people. My second job was with a smaller company, a startup, Synthetic Genomics in La Jolla. It was actually a lot of development of new technologies and some research. Throughout my industry career, I've been mostly working on product development, but at that company I did a little bit of technology development, which brings me closer to the research and less to the D, right? More R than D. And then my third company was Illumina. It's a company in San Diego. It's growing super fast. Last year they hired about 2,000 people. Now they are around 4,000 people. But it's in San Diego area, a little bit farther from here. So to come down to your point, of course it depends which company you join, whether it's a larger company that's publicly traded or whether it's a small startup that is not public yet. But I would say with a bachelor degree entry level, you're looking at mid-50, close to even 60,000. Again, it depends on the company, but like 55 to 60,000 would be probably a reasonable area to start. Of course, you can get on the higher end when you go to a company that makes, maybe publicly traded company, especially one that makes therapeutics, like the products, the biotherapeutics. For example, Genentech would be a really great company to join. Because, for example, Biotechnologies, I was working on products that are RUO, research use only. And my salary was related to the fact that my products were not for human consumption, right? I mean, I wasn't making drugs. I was making products for scientists to use in their research. But if you join a company in the manufacturing sector that makes therapeutics, we're talking more money, right? The closer you are to a product that makes a lot of money, the higher your salary, the higher your bonus. And bonuses depend a lot on your quarterly performance. So that is a range that we're looking at. Another thing I need to point out, the difference between going into the manufacturing and operations versus R&D. R&D is a great area to do exciting things in a way. You kind of poke around, you test things, you see if it works or not. But R&D is an area where growth is kind of limited. And the R&D division is much farther away from the money away. For example, the product managers were making way more money than I was making as an R&D scientist. So, of course, it depends which company. But in manufacturing, in operations, R&D is also very limited. Okay, you become a lower level scientist, then you get to a senior scientist, principal scientist, but the career growth is kind of limited. Whereas in manufacturing, you can be in production, you can go to operations, you can be in supply chain, you can be a product manager, you can be a project manager, you can be a document specialist, you can be a QC analyst, you can be a quality assurance specialist. So you can start on the bench, but there are opportunities. 10 years on the bench, for example, okay, you don't want to do bench work anymore. Great, then there are areas you can move to. You can become a project manager. I have a lot of friends who became project managers from operations manufacturing, not from R&D, because the skill set is different. Teamwork, it's not about the individual, it's about the team. It's about working, collaborating with other people, other divisions. It's cross-functional, right? So the skill set is different. And I would say there are a lot of opportunities, and quality, just to kind of wrap it up. Quality is growing. For example, in my last company, Lumina, the quality department was hiring when the R&D department was not. FDA comes to these new biotech companies with a lot of regulations, and they want to be compliant because those products are going to go to the health market, and that is where a lot of the money is. And quality is where there are a lot of jobs, and these are well-paying jobs. Okay, so it is a different area than R&D. Okay, and you need to keep that in mind. But after working in 3 very different companies, I can definitely tell you there are a lot of opportunities within that field. So, but does that kind of answer your question? Okay.
Just to follow that up a little bit, so if the starting salary is 55 to 60 or something that reasonable, 10 years when they've done some movement, what are some salaries a bachelor's person could have?
They can be, so if you become a supervisor, I mean, you will be making probably more than a scientist in R&D. I mean, we're talking close to 100,000 for sure.
Yeah, it's not a, it's not a pink ghetto of any kind where you're going to get pigeonholed and stay at a low-level salary.
Yeah. And if you go to the project management area, let's say you can become a project manager, then we're talking a really nice pay. You can become product manager. What that will require, let's say you have 10 experience under your belt in manufacturing, you take a few business classes, and if it's an internal, because companies love to have project and product managers internally. You've got your experience in production, operations, you get the company, you know the people, you network inside. These are the people they want to promote to those positions. They will send you to get your MBA or whatever. And now we are talking, starting from that manufacturing entry-level position, we are talking a pretty high level. Product managers were making, Biotech when I left, they were around 120,000. Okay?
Yeah.
Because they were closer to the money, of course. Right, I'm sorry.
Do you have more questions?
I'm actually a new forester. I work for Biotech. I won't disclose my company yet for the reason being that I do know salaries.
Yeah.
But at my company, an entry-level associate manufacturing starts between 55 and 65. Our manager for manufacturing makes 120,000. I have 11 years in the industry and I make a six-figure salary.
There's a
So-
lot of room for advancement.
So my numbers were close.
Yes.
Right. But Billy Honest was absolutely right. An academic research institute or else is a very strict structure, right? There's a PhD scientist at the top, and there's the workers underneath. And the room for advancement is nothing like what you're describing.
It's
Yeah.
so great because I could have somebody with a master's and somebody with a bachelor's that has 10 years experience, and that person will make more than the master's because it's such a specialized skill that academia is not teaching, and it can only be learned working on site, and the regulations are not taught in college and universities.
As you say, our industry board was just thrilled when they saw this list of coursework because it's nothing. You will not find this at the universities anywhere. Okay. Good, Ronnie?
How's the scheduling week?
Scheduling, we didn't put that up here now. We are looking at having this for the upper division. We're looking at making the schedule so we can work Monday through Thursday mornings. So the on-campus commitment would be, we're still tweaking it, we're thinking 8 to noon or 8 to 1, Monday through Thursdays. Right, so that, we're considering the fact that we think that for many individuals, you may have other jobs. If you've left our program and you've been out there for a few years, we think you're working, right? You might be happy in your jobs, but now you want to advance and you want something more, but it's pretty hard to give up a salary. So we're trying to make it as friendly as we can so that individuals could still work at least part-time. I mean, it's going to be a rigorous upper division program. You're going to be committed as a full-time cohort, to be taking 14, 16 units of courses each semester to get through in those 4 semesters, but we're trying to make it so your on-campus commitment is very set, so you can work around that and things. Mm-hmm.
For biomanufacturing associate degree, is there any internship?
We have internships built into all of our lower division programs, and so that will still work for whether you're doing the bachelor's degree or the lower division program. They're not a formal internship at this time, meaning we have a career center, we have internships, those units count towards our degrees. We have Mike, I haven't introduced Mike Fino in the back if you don't know him, but was our recent head of biotechnology. Now he's our new dean of math and science. But my impression, and you can confirm this, is students have never had a problem finding internships in our program so far, and we have a lot of contacts to help with that.
Yeah, surprisingly, there aren't too many requests in any given semester for internships.
Student requests.
Student requests. But generally speaking, I'd say every student that's been interested in internship, we've found them for. And we do have one formal program that we will still continue to have for another 4 years. And we have a stem cell internship program that a lot of our students apply for. That's actually a year-long, full-time experience doing stem cell research. Definitely different from biomanufacturing. But
That's the one that Jason mentioned, but it's a one, so students quite often after they finish the associate degree or so in the associate degree would would apply for and perhaps be awarded one of those internships, and it's a one-year program. I think the salary now is about $35,000 for that program. That you're paid while you do that internship for the 1 year at very prestigious places. I mean, Jeannie Laurie's lab is like probably the most prestigious stem cell lab in the country, is one of the ones that participates. So,
Do you know how the students that go through this program will be considered, like how strong of a candidate they will be for graduate school programs?
that's an unknown. I mean, it really is an unknown. The programs, when the state allowed us to develop these, they were looking for what they called them applied bachelors, because they really were trying to focus on bachelor degrees that are needed by industry and not currently being met. So that was really their focus, was employability, was getting jobs and employability. It's hard to say how it'll segue over to graduate level, but it probably depends on the program. I mean, if you're talking about graduate level in business, I think it'll transfer over really well. If you're talking about graduate program in chemistry, then it's like, okay, you're going to have to look at what courses you're missing and things, because we're not having you take the calculus, the physics, and things that would be normal prereqs. So.
I would just add, so in graduate programs, the way I went to grad school, I was a research assistant through grad school, and I was paid by my PI on a grant. And grants are getting tight. There are not many out there. Funding is very, very tight. Now, government's looking at the research at those academic institutions, and the way grants are given, they're looking at things like statistical analysis. It's very common in academia that no one really talks much about statistics, especially in our field. Oh, you do an experiment 3 times, you get a good result. Well, let's publish. However, that is changing. So this program definitely prepares you for a pretty good knowledge and understanding of how you design experiments, how you plan those experiments, how you analyze them, and so these are skills and knowledge that can be applied in a research area while you're working as a graduate student, and your PI would appreciate those skills. The other thing is, I mean, nowadays it's also about cost. Like how, you don't want to plan tons of experiments, you want to be smart about it. And so there's some engineering principles like design of experiment and like Six Sigma methodology, where you can look at different factors in your experiment, and you can really improve and speed up all of these experiments you're doing. And I think that is another way to contribute with a skill set that most academic institutions are not really teaching. So I think there will be a change eventually in that kind of academic type of research environment, because they are also looking at spending less money. The applied element, government does want to give grants where there is some application. When you write grant proposals, you have to explain why are we doing this? There will be a component of application, right? And you will bring that with you from this type of work. So, of course, we don't know. We can't be sure. This is an experiment in a way. It's a pilot, right? But I went through a very classical type of, graduate school path, and the skills I acquired and the knowledge I got from this type of disciplines has helped me tremendously, even as a scientist. So I think that, it would be very useful. But again, right, we don't have all the answers.
Yeah, Mike
I
and Bill?
just want to add on to that question. This might kind of inform other similar types of questions, but fundamentally this is a Bachelor of Science degree from an accredited institution of higher education. And so all the benefits that go along with that, from a bachelor's degree from any other accredited institution, this is exactly the same.
Right. And I actually made that point, I think, when I talked to a variety of high school counselors. And I said, in the end, the graduates will be able to check the box that they have a bachelor's degree, as you say, from an accredited institutions. So if there's a glass ceiling at a company or whatever else where it says we can't advance you because you don't have a bachelor's, that is taken care of, right? And so in many instances, all they want to know is, do you have a bachelor's, right? And the answer is going to be yes, absolutely resounding. You have a good bachelor's, yeah. Now, whether it fulfills prereqs for a particular graduate program, that's a whole different ball of wax. Just like students who have bachelor's degrees and decide to go to medical school have to sometimes go back and do the prereqs. So, we have here. Ask as many as you like.
Going back to the scheduling, depending upon it's a pilot program and depending upon the attendance and how many people actually apply, do you see there being a reason for you guys to offer classes on Saturdays as well? Because I know right now it's just Monday through Thursday. And a lot of people who are working, typically that'd be ideal for.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to be very open to looking at how it all works and how we can, fit the needs of everyone the best. I mean, there's many needs here. We want to give students the education they need and the credentials to get good jobs. That's absolutely our first thing. We want the employers to love the students, the graduates we send them. But, we also want to make sure that the students can attend the program, right? I mean, we want to make sure so we debated this a few times about whether to make it a night program, a day program, and we've settled on this model for the beginning because we think that it's the best way to work with a cohort of students and provide them support services is by having them at least initially Monday through Thursday on campus, taking the classes together. It'll be a cohort of 30 so that you'll actually have people you can relate with. We're going to be looking to provide tutoring services, counseling, all of these things. So we thought that was the best way to start it out into. There's going to be bugs and bumps along the road, we're sure of it, right? So it started out, but I think we definitely would be listening to students' needs and desires if they wanted to kind of shift some to night or Saturdays, or absolutely. Yeah. Okay. More questions? If not, we do have some refreshments here, and we've got a variety of people you can talk to. If you want to see our facilities in the back room, our bioreactors and bigger, fancier equipment, you're more than welcome.